Fernando Alonso just said something that should make the entire Formula One grid uncomfortable. Not hopeful, not patient, uncomfortable. Because even after difficult early running, limited laps and pace that didn't scare anyone yet, Alonso still believes one thing with absolute clarity. With Adrian Newey, Aston Martin will eventually have the best car in Formula One. That's not optimism. That's a warning. And in a sport where confidence is usually hidden until victory is certain, saying this now changes the psychological balance before the real fight even begins. So here's the question nobody wants to ask out loud. What if the next dominant era isn't forming at Red Bull, but quietly rebuilding in green? This matters more than it seems. Formula One is entering one of the most disruptive technical resets in modern history. New power unit architecture, different energy balance, sustainable fuel demands, aerodynamic philosophy shifts. When rules change this deeply, the competitive order usually fractures. Chaos appears, surprises happen. But Alonso isn't speaking like a driver waiting for chaos. He's speaking like someone who believes the ending is already written, just not visible yet. And when a two-time world champion with 2 decades of experience sounds this certain, you stop scrolling and start listening. Because here's the overlooked truth most fans miss. Adrian Newey doesn't join projects to participate. He joins to win. Every major era he's fully committed to has eventually produced championship-level machinery. Williams, McLaren, Red Bull, different decades, same outcome. Let that sink in. Aston Martin didn't just hire an engineer, they hired a pattern of history repeating. And Alonso's confidence isn't based on hope, it's based on watching that pattern up close from the inside. Strongest reveal? Early struggles don't contradict Newey's influence. They actually fit his timeline. The most dominant cars he designed were rarely instant. They were precise, ruthlessly refined, built around long-term rule stability, not short-term headlines. That means current performance tells us almost nothing. Future architecture tells us everything. And Alonso is clearly looking at the future, not the stopwatch. Smart fans subscribe. Now step back and look at the contradiction forming. Aston Martin's visible performance doesn't match Alonso's invisible confidence. Few laps, modest pace. Questions everywhere. Yet inside the garage, belief is rising instead of falling. That disconnect is where the real story lives. Because in Formula One, internal belief usually collapses before results do. Teams feel failure early. Morale drops quietly. Language changes subtly. None of that is happening here. Instead, Alonso sounds calmer than drivers in faster cars. That's insane. So, why reveal this confidence publicly? Confidence in Formula One is never just emotion, it's strategy. Messages are sent for reasons. Rivals listen, sponsors listen, engineers considering job moves listen, and sometimes a single sentence is designed to reshape perception before performance arrives. Be honest, if you were running Mercedes or Ferrari, would this statement worry you, even a little? Here's what nobody is talking about. Aston Martin's real transformation isn't the car you see today, it's the infrastructure you don't see. New wind tunnel, expanded technical leadership, long-term investment that mirrors what championship teams looked like before they started winning. Dominance in Formula One is built years earlier than fans realize. By the time trophies appear, the outcome was already decided in meeting rooms and design offices long before. And this is where tension starts to rise. Because belief creates expectation. Expectation creates pressure. And pressure inside a rebuilding team can either forge greatness or expose weakness. If Newey's vision succeeds, Aston Martin could leap forward faster than anyone predicts. But if timelines slip, even slightly, the psychological damage could be severe. Formula One history is full of future champions that never arrived. Halfway through this story, another uncomfortable idea appears. What if Alonso isn't just predicting success, but racing against time to reach it? Age, contract length, final championship dream. This isn't a 5-year patience project for him. It's now or never. That urgency makes his confidence even more dramatic. Because drivers near the end of their careers usually hedge expectations. Alonso is doing the opposite. Elite timing, subscribe. So I want your honest reaction. Is Alonso witnessing the birth of a new powerhouse or convincing himself to believe in one? If you were team boss today, would you double down on the long-term vision or demand immediate results? Drop your call below because this moment might look small now, but it could define the next decade of Formula One. And just when the story feels clear, a deeper layer appears. Because Newey's arrival doesn't only change Aston Martin, it changes the political gravity of the entire grid. Engineers follow genius, sponsors follow momentum, drivers follow opportunity. One technical mastermind shifting teams can quietly reshape competitive balance across multiple seasons. And once that shift begins, stopping it becomes almost impossible. But there's one problem nobody can ignore. History guarantees nothing, not even for legends. And the forces building against Aston Martin might be stronger than confidence alone. Because Formula One doesn't reward belief. It rewards execution under relentless pressure. And the path between Newey's drawing board and a championship trophy is filled with traps that have destroyed ambitious projects before. Budget caps limit recovery speed. Regulation complexity multiplies risk. Rivals aren't standing still, they're evolving at the same time. So Alonso's confidence isn't just bold, it's dangerous. Dangerous because if Aston Martin fails to deliver, the fall from expectation will be brutal. Read that again. This isn't a quiet rebuild anymore. It's a public promise. And public promises in Formula One create timelines that engineering reality doesn't always respect. Development delays happen. Correlation problems appear. Political rule interpretations shift mid-cycle. One wrong aerodynamic philosophy can lock a team into mediocrity for years. That's the knife edge Aston Martin is walking right now. But here's the twist that changes everything. The 2026 regulation reset may actually favour teams like Aston Martin more than current frontrunners. Why? Because disruption reduces inherited advantage. When rules change deeply enough, yesterday's dominance becomes irrelevant. Suddenly, vision matters more than legacy. And Newey's greatest strength has always been seeing rulebooks differently than everyone else. That's insane. If he interprets the 2026 framework better than rivals, Aston Martin's current struggles could become meaningless overnight. So the real battle isn't today's lap time, it's tomorrow's architecture. Now imagine the psychological shock if Aston Martin emerges competitive in the new era. Not just quick, genuinely threatening. The narrative of Formula One would flip instantly. Red Bull's dominance questioned. Mercedes' rebuild pressured. Ferrari's patience tested again. One green car at the front could rewrite the entire competitive storyline of the sport. Who's the real winner behind the scenes? But uncertainty cuts both ways. Because for every historic success story, Formula One has an equal number of legendary projects that never delivered. Brilliant engineers, massive funding, world-class drivers. Still no titles. The margin between destiny and disappointment in this sport is microscopic. And that's what makes Alonso's confidence so fascinating. He's either seeing the future clearly or risking everything on faith. Let that sink in. What's truly at stake here isn't just a championship, it's legacy. For Alonso, this could be the final chapter that defines how history remembers him. For Aston Martin, it's the difference between becoming a true works powerhouse or remaining a permanent promise. For Newey, it's proof that genius transcends teams, eras, and regulation cycles. That's why this story feels bigger than one season, bigger than one car. It's about whether Formula One's next era has already chosen its protagonist. Stay sharp, subscribe, because the moment of truth is approaching faster than it seems. Testing comparisons. Early season upgrades. First real signs of correlation between simulation and track. These quiet indicators will reveal whether Alonso's belief was insight or illusion. And when that reveal comes, the shock will ripple across the entire paddock. So here's the final question I want to leave you with. If Aston Martin truly builds the best car, are the rest of Formula One ready for another power shift? And if they don't, what does that mean for Alonso's last great gamble? The answer is coming. And in the next video, we uncover the hidden rival most likely to stop Aston Martin before their rise even begins. The team preparing a silent counterattack while the spotlight stays elsewhere. Watch that next.